Dances with Wolves, the bet nobody thought would pay off. We may say that Hollywood creates spectacles and sells dreams, but at the end of the day, it's still a business. It involves not-so-dreamy tasks such as extensive pre-production planning, market research, risk assessment, security and reputation management, and so on. Projects are usually undertaken when the risk factor is minimized as much as possible. We may say that Hollywood creates spectacles and sells dreams, but at the end of the day, it's still a business. It involves not-so-dreamy tasks such as extensive pre-production planning, market research, risk assessment, security and reputation management, and so on. Projects are usually undertaken when the risk factor is minimized as much as possible. Video muted. So, when someone seems to step out of this demarcated safety bubble of risks, security, and losses, people talk. They raise eyebrows and point fingers. In business language, this recklessness translates as insanity. In 1989, everyone thought Kevin Costner had gone insane when he decided to make a certain movie. The reason is he picked a genre that studios had already declared dead. He chose a story that moved at its own pace. He made it longer than any filmmaker would dare at that time, 3 hours. And the director wasn't a well-known name like Sergio Corbucci, Sergio Leone, or Clint Eastwood. It was Costner himself, an overconfident and possibly delusional film star with not a single directorial credit. When the project started, Dances with Wolves, 1990, didn't look like it had any bright prospects. It looked like a film that was doomed to go downhill. A film that everyone would quote as a warning sign. They termed it a vanity project and career gamble dressed as ambition. Kevin Costner might as well be writing his own professional eulogy. And then came the big judgment day, November 9th, 1990. Everyone held their breath to hear a loud crash followed by resounding silence. But surprise, surprise, the crash never came. What came was a deafening cheer from both critics and the masses. What came was a large influx of green at the box office. What came was a big Oscar triumph. Confounded skeptics went silent, and record books were rewritten. Costner hadn't just made a hit film. He had resurrected a whole genre from its grave. Why the industry thought Costner had lost it. Westerns, the box office poison of the era. Once the fan favorite, Westerns had lost their allure by the 80s. The decade saw several Westerns bombing, or at least greatly underperforming, at the box office. The 80s decade saw a surge of high-concept spectacles, such as E.T. the Extraterrestrial, 1982, sci-fi films like The Terminator, 1984, and urban action flicks, like Die Hard, 1988, which made survival for the Westerns even more difficult. Expecting the audience would still buy into its outdated genre cliches was hopeless. What's more, Costner was trying to sell a slow-burning frontier story to the generation that had developed a taste for fast-paced narratives. It's no wonder everyone thought that Dances with Wolves was a massive disaster waiting to happen. Risky blueprint from page 1. Aside from the fact that Westerns had no viable audience, Costner's screenplay stretched to 3 hours of runtime, was slow-paced, and leaned into quiet storytelling. As if that wasn't hard enough to sell, the majority of the film included large portions of Lakota dialogue with subtitles. And yes, Costner, who had zero directorial experience, was taking the reins of the movie. That only added to the skepticism and ridicule. Costner's last stand, the industry voices labeled it. The pundits even predicted that Costner would derail his hot streak as an actor in a misguided attempt to launch himself as a director, that too, with a disaster-prone project such as this. Chaos behind the camera. The risks that usually accompany filming on location are unpredictable weather, remote setups, and massive coordination challenges. Everything that was a part of this project. The buffalo hunt sequence alone was a logistical headache and required rigorous planning and high costs. Working with animals, especially wolves, such as two socks, was a lesson in unpredictability and expense. Training such a wild animal act stretched the schedule in terms of training, timing, and safety. Delays happened, and every delay added pressure. The budget kept ballooning. Every complication only bolstered the ominous prediction that everyone was making about the movie's looming fate. The payoff that changed the narrative. Box office shock and the audience shift. What was needed to silence the loud, critical noise was a loud, critical success. The movie delivered it. It grossed over $424 million worldwide. The skeptics went into shocked silence, but were also forced to reevaluate their assumptions about audience taste. They had underestimated viewers' ability and willingness to appreciate sincerity, scale, and emotional depth. Not everything had to be constrained inside the mold of